everyone, welcome to Education Alchemists YouTube channel. Today I'm joined with Dr. Lisa Taylor and Professor Gilly Salmon. We're discussing peer enhanced e-placements, otherwise known as PEEP. It's 6 months on from the original creation. So Lisa, could you tell me what the progress has been so far?
Yeah, since the first PEEP was implemented back in April this year, I've been working with Gilly and we've been putting together a PEEP acquisition package to enable people to implement a PEEP locally, and it's been customised for their local delivery as well. So we've looked into the pedagogy around the PEEP and also looking about how different professions can be applying the PEEP to their placement structures as well.
Great, thank you. So can I ask to Gilly how the learning design has evolved over time?
Well, it's been 6 months and we've had a very exciting time with the learning design. I would say that because I love the pedagogical side of things. But what the joy with the PEEP was that it used the 5-stage model to start with. So it was based on very well researched evidence. But now we are moving into much more breadth and depth as more people adopt it, apply it, customize it, make it their own, make it real for their students. So, for example, the original PEEP had case studies, and they are still being tailored for different professions, but also others have substituted case studies for example, taking a patient journey over the weeks of the virtual placement, or using focus scenarios or problem-based learning. Others have said, well, we've got emerging roles. We're going to focus this virtual placement on something that isn't possible to do at the moment for real. Otherwise, difficult to reach areas, things that students would never be able to have a placement for, they can actually explore in new ways. Air ambulance, unusual cardiac cases, those kinds of things spring to mind, and even specific pathways for a particular profession. So it's been hugely exciting and very adaptable, and we're still on this breadth and depth pedagogical journey.
And Lisa, do you have any thoughts on the learning design involvement?
I think, as Gilly said, it's been an exciting journey, and we always had the confidence that the PEEP could be amended and implemented for local requirements, but it just has reassured us, really, all of the experience that we've had with multiple professions now with the PEEP acquisition package, that it can be customised for the professional needs of the particular students who are being put on a PEEP. And so, yeah, the range and, as Gilly said, that breadth and depth of learning in all the different areas has really been exciting to see it being adapted for those particular local needs.
Another form of adaptation, though, Lisa, has also been how people have put it into the structure of their degrees, because the original PEEP was second years and for a particular profession. But we've seen a lot of creativity around pre-work for a virtual placement to make it more worthwhile, more meaningful. And we've seen people put it, in fact, at all different places throughout the degree. I don't know whether you want to say a couple of words about that.
Yeah, so as you say, the original one was for our second year students, purely because they were the second year students that needed the placement. But as you say, different professions have thought that they could use it at different stages of the student learning as well. So yeah, that's been really interesting to see as to how the sort of pedagogy can be applied at different stages of the learning through the PEEP structure.
Is that how you've managed to customise to different placements using that? Right, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, in relation to that customisation you talk about, Paula, that's been another thing that we've found through the PEEP workshops, is that people have had different requirements for the PEEP to fit within their existing placement structures. I mean, what we've tried to do with the PEEP all the way along is mirror as much as possible those core learning that's going to be happening at that stage of the learning for the students, but to mirror the experiences that the students are going to be having anyway. So the ability for the PEEP to fit in within the current placement structure is being really important as well. So we've had people planning to use a PEEP as a hub and spoke model. So you still have a shortened face-to-face placement, but then have a spoke as a PEEP. We've had people who have done a hybrid model, if you like. So they've either front-ended a face-to-face placement, shortened the face-to-face placement, but had a PEEP at the beginning to prepare the students and know they've had that same experience, or back-ended a placement, so shortened the face-to-face placement and then had a PEEP at the end to almost wash up their learning and confirm the learning that all of the students have had, because obviously some people can go on quite diverse placements and you're wanting to make sure that students have had that consistent learning. For those people who've got larger cohorts, we've heard of sort of reverse hybrids. So half the cohort go out for their face-to-face placement, while the other half have their PEEP, and then they reverse it that way. And then the other model, apart from the usual sort of standalone PEEP model, which was the original PEEP model, is those courses that the students are normally on placement for 2 days a week alongside their academic studies. So people have looked at elongating the PEEP, just doing it 2 days a week so that people can then progress their academic learning as well. So that's been really interesting and exciting as well as that sort of pedagogical adaptation for the local requirements. We've been able to see that local adaptation within their placement structures to make sure that the PEEP can slot in to what those local requirements are.
Yeah, it sounds amazing and extremely exciting stuff. Just for my final question, I just want to ask you, Lisa, can you tell me what the challenges your colleagues are continuing to face with the current situation in the world?
Yeah, I think people almost breathed a sigh of relief when COVID numbers went down and thought perhaps they could get back to some sort of normality around face-to-face placements. But obviously COVID has reared up again and people are still trying to catch up with the placement loss that happened from the first wave of COVID. And from our point of view, we really feel that PEEP is a sustainable model. Obviously, the original PEEP was designed and created in response to COVID, but that pedagogical richness that has been evaluated and the fact that it can be adapted and have the placement learning outcomes at the core of it, we feel that even beyond COVID, PEEP can play a part as part of a placement portfolio. So yes, there's an emergency situation at the moment in regards to placement capacity and lost hours, but we feel that PEEP can help with the emergency, but also be a longer term option for people going forward when COVID has been and gone.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Gilly. If you want more information about PEEPs, I will put it in the description box at the bottom, the acquisition package and all other links that we can provide. And thank you again for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.